Money on my mind, gotta hustle and grind. Financial literacy always on my mind. I'm stacking knowledge, no time to waste. Gotta invest smart, gotta keep up the pace. I'm reading books, learning all the tricks, studying the market, making calculated picks.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Reckless Ray Dinero, and we are back at it again for another episode of Crypto Portfolio Updates. I just want to make sure that you hit that like on the way in. Easiest way to support the channel. The second easiest way is if you have been here more than 2 times, go ahead and remember to touch that subscribe button down below. Also, don't forget to put that bell notification right next to it. You click that, click all notifications on, because outside of the first of the month, first full week of every month, I'm not flooding your feed. And even that first full week, you just get to see me the first 6 days of the month. Instead of only getting to see me 2-3 times a week, you get to see me 6 times a week. It's like 2 times the Reckless Ray Dinero. It's awesome. Also, for those of you in the Wolf Pack, don't forget to share the video. That is one of the easiest ways to help out this channel and the growth, because there's always more room in the Wolf Pack. And as I always say, we're not trying to get rich over here by ourselves. I'm not keeping any secrets. I'm showing you guys what I'm doing with my money. And, we're reporting back on how it's going. With that said, this is obviously not financial advice. This is just some schlub on the internet giving his take on what he's doing with his money and the results. That's another thing. I mean, I'm a firm believer that you can't argue with results, but some people like to argue with results. Anyways, we're going to get to it. So, let's go ahead and jump in and get our housekeeping out of the way. We got to bring this. Oh, got to make me small. I am not a narcissist. If I could figure out a way to make myself even more minuscule. Oh, yeah, look at that. I got a micro down here in the corner. I love it. Yes, this is where I belong. We're going to go ahead and start in as of this recording, which is Tuesday, June 3rd. Obviously, we do these in the evening. It's released happy hump day in the morning. So I'm talking to you guys Wednesday morning. This is the last thing I do before I go to sleep on Tuesday evening, is give you this market insights and updates on my portfolio. At this present time of recording, Bitcoin is sitting at $105,397. We have crashed down from our previous peak of, I'm pretty sure I saw it at like 110. We might have touched 112. I don't know. I'm gonna click in here. We can go ahead and just take a look at it together to see where we've been, where we have gone. Overview. Where are we at? Where are we at? 111. We have crashed down from the previous all-time high on May 22nd of $111,814. Goodness gracious. This is just terrible. This is so terrible. What are we going to do? It's all over. Maybe we should pack our bags and sell everything and get out of the market while we can. We are complaining about Bitcoin being over $100,000, people. I love it. I love the hysterics. I love the fact that they have to say anything and everything to get you to click into their stupid videos for their dumb hot takes. I love it. I love it. All the bears, I love it. I hope you guys are bearing it up, because once you get short squeezed out, oh my God, it's going to be beautiful. For the bulls, it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. Bitcoin dominance is sitting at 61.1%. Ethereum dominance is at 9.12%, with gas fees at 0.749 Gwei. Make your transactions on Ethereum right now. It is inexpensive. This will probably carry over to the morning. So you might check and see what the gas fees are. And, based on whatever is going on with that, if it's under 1, I am all up in Ethereum, making trades, making moves, playing with smart contracts. Trending coins as of this video. Shout out to CoinGecko for this wealth of information. At number 1, we have Vice. At number 2, we have Magic Eden. At number 3, we have Kita. one of the things I wanted to point out, remember, because I see a lot of people, this is another thing in the news that we're always talking about, is alt season's always just around the corner. It's getting ready to come. It's happening. It's our time. Ethereum dominance is down. I do this once a week. Every week. Bitcoin dominance is not down. I've recorded when the bull run started and Bitcoin dominance was in the 50s. The 50s wasn't when alt season was. Now they're telling us that it needs to just go down a little bit more to where we were at 54 and not having alt season. Which is why I say, be careful who you follow, people, because these people will sit here and talk to you every single day, and every single day their opinion, outlook, and perspective changes. Every single day. And it's because most of these people live here and report from here. I don't even believe that everyone who we look to get our information about the market is actually in the market. That's where I'm at this point. Because these channels are too big. They're obviously making their income from YouTube. They're not in the market. They're not. Like, I either that or they're literally playing you, the viewer, and sending y'all on fool's errands while they're doing some different stuff with their money because they're not transparent and they're not telling you what they're doing, and we never know about their portfolios. I'm just saying. Bitcoin dominance is still above 60. We have reported down into 50, as low as 55. I'm pretty sure as low as 54, if I do remember correctly. And what metric is alt season? Where does the dominance need to be for alt season to be happening? Because they keep talking as though Bitcoin's getting ready to drop down in dominance, and we haven't reported under 60 in a hot minute. So I'm wondering what percentage, what's the metric, and when is this happening? Because we're looking, and it's like it's not that I don't believe that alt season is coming, but it's just the level of theatrics, the level of FOMO. People are pushing, and I'll tell you this, specifically with Bitcoin and Ethereum, you better get a hold of some while you can. You better get a hold of some while you can. There's your FOMO from me. Do the right thing, protect your future, buy stuff that's not going away. Bitcoin and Ethereum. Super simple. Very boring, but very easy to do. You should get some while you can. You heard it here first, and you'll hear it here consistently. Get some while you can. Get involved in the ecosystem. I don't know what else to tell you. If you're going to be if you're a TradFi guy, you better get something that's exposed to Bitcoin. You better grab some MicroStrategy while you can. Better get a hold of some Strike while you can. Better go ahead and buy yourself some Misty while you can. Get involved. Get involved. Get that income while you can. If you have an income problem like I do, my issue is not anything but income. I just need more money. I don't want to go get another job. I don't want to go retool and go into debt to get another job. I have an income problem. We done solved that. That's right. We done solved that. Get some Misty while you can. Just saying. But yeah, Bitcoin and Ethereum, super simple. We're going to go ahead and jump into the top 5 gainers and losers because that's always fun. We're going to start off with the gainers list, looking pretty nice. We're going really sideways. Altcoins are, this is the biggest test of the biggest battle of attrition I've seen in a bull run in a long time. Everything is so boring, yet also so extreme because everyone's mad that Ethereum's not moving the way they want it to. Bitcoin wasn't moving the way they wanted to. We got back into price discovery, and now we're complaining that at numbers that are above $100,000, we're over $100,000 and complaining. We're gonna have to see who the real ones are. It's a legitimate question at this point. We're gonna find out too, because I'm reporting every week. We'll see how many people continue to report. You're gonna see more people flood into the space as this bull run heats up, as these altcoins start going nuclear parabolic. We're gonna see some wealth made, and then we're gonna see some wealth lost because these people are going to be too stupid to know when to sell. They're not going to take profits. They're not going to cycle into something that's going to be lasting, and they're going to ride their gains down to darn near nothing. I know because I've done it. I've done it. I've walked away with a $6,000 profit that should have been a $24,000 profit. You still left with something, but it doesn't feel good. It's a knowledge knot that you have to learn. The difference between me and most people are I understand a win is a win. And I didn't come out of the space going, oh, crypto's a scam, because I was too dumb to listen to people who said, hey, you might want to cycle that, or you might want to take your profits. I'm telling you right now, Reckless Ray Dinero is telling you right now before this bull run even starts, you might want to cycle that. You might want to take some profits. Take some lifestyle chips off the table. Shout out to Rob Paul. Yeah, nothing worse than coming out of a bull run with nothing to show for it and something that's never going back to where it was. A lot of the people who were buying the dip on Doge on the way down because it was just impossible that it was going to keep going down, and it kept going down. They don't talk about crypto anymore. I don't hear them bragging about their Doge bags anymore that they got stuck with. They didn't even talk about what they walked out with because they're embarrassed. Which, you put yourself out in the public forum, you're putting yourself in a position to get embarrassed. And that's fair. I'm not even going to get embarrassed. People just tell me I'm stupid. They start off telling me I'm stupid. So I'm used to it by now. People just argue with me. Oh, that's not the way that works. Oh, if you would have just bought MicroStrategy, you could live off that, even though you're working with a small pool of money where that's mathematically impossible with preserving the principal. Like, okay, whatever. That's fine. That's fine. I understand. People are emotionally tied to what they're doing. With no results and no tracking of them. If they have channels, I would love to have those debates. I would love to have them on my show to have those debates, to have that conversation. I don't even think it's a debate. I just want to know the math. Like if I'm wrong, let me know I'm wrong. But you're going to have to lay it out in a fashion that makes sense. And like, you know what? I'll get educated publicly. Like, that's cool. Come on up. Email's down in the description. I'd love to have the conversation. But I've yet to see anybody who's been tracking anything that they've been doing, and honestly, it would be on the TradFi portfolio side, because on my crypto portfolio, I'm not doing anything that's up for question. Bitcoin's outperformed everything the last 15 years, and I've got more than most people are ever going to get their hands on. The most real people, I would say, and I got it from scratch, the hard way. So, like, I don't have an issue there. It's my traditional portfolio. I get on Reddit and people just want to just be the guru on there. And I'm like, where's your YouTube channel? What are your receipts? What's your net worth? Are you retired? And then it becomes an issue of Reckless Ray Dinero personalizing people, because apparently that's a thing. Like, no, I'm just asking for your receipts and where you're coming from so I can understand what you're saying. Like, also, did you do this based on the constraints that I, as a normal person who isn't rich already, have? Like, did you? Because if you didn't, you can't help me. I know, because I know actual rich people, and they're like, yo, you're going to have to figure this out on your own. And then a lot of them are pretty intrigued with the stuff that I'm doing and find it interesting and want me to put them on game. So I don't know. Like, people that I know are wealthy, like, they got receipts. I'm a stickler for receipts. Like, people like to see what you're doing when you track your net worth every month. Do you track your net worth every month? Let's talk about it. Educate me. I'm just saying, like, we're gonna put all the cards on the table. Okay, so anyways, I'm gonna stop ranting. We're gonna jump into it. So starting off with the top 5 gainers, we have at rank 701, we have Build on BNB with a gain of 88.1% in the last 24 hours. At number 2, at 971, we have Vice with a gain of 75.9% in the last 24 hours. At number 3, we have at rank 484, BC Game Coin with a gain of 40.2% in the last 24 hours. At rank 341, we have Magic Eden with a gain of 31.9% in the last 24 hours. And last but not least, at number 5, we have at rank 408, Asset with a gain of 27.8% in the last 24 hours. Impressive. Moving over to the top 5 losers. Hope you guys aren't over here. And if you are over here, I hope it's a healthy retracement where you get to buy in to lower that cost average. Let's get to it. At number 1, at rank 540, we have Merlin Chain with a loss of 22.4% in the last 24 hours. At number 2, at rank 967, we have Moonpig with a loss of 21% even in the last 24 hours. At number 3, we have at rank 623, Zirkit with a loss of 20% even in the last 24 hours. At number 4, at rank 424, we have Launch Coin on Believe with a loss of 18.9% in the last 24 hours. Last but not least, we have rounding up the top 5 losers of the day. At rank 862, we have Taobot with a loss of 16.4% in the last 24 hours. Moving on. We're going to jump over into the portfolio, but before we do that, we've got a couple of numbers to give you. So on the day, we are down 1.3%. On the total profit loss, we are down 20.2%. This is where we live. We're just in a sea of red, and we have been for quite some time, but it's kicking off a little bit of money. This May's DeFi cash out was $904. That's nothing to shake a stick at. The issue is, I think we sat on that for about 2 months, maybe a month and a half, maybe a month. I don't know. We're pretty much down to monthly. We're also consolidating into the income portfolio because for the pile of money that we can put over there with the loss that we had from the volatility of the altcoin market, it's just much better to have it in the dividend portfolio and have it based on Bitcoin, because I mean, we're still going to have the volatility, but it's a clean, the way that I look at it, it's a cleaner burning fuel. There's just less, so I don't have to deal with impermanent loss. I'm not messed around with managing farms. I can jump into my portfolio. Paycheck's going to land in the portfolio in cash already. I don't have to move anything. I got options. Like I just, you want to leave your options open. Also, I'm monetizing the volatility of the most secure asset on the planet. So kind of a win-win for me. So we're making the moves to get it over there. We're consolidating down into high conviction stuff. So our top 5 has changed a little bit. We're going to go ahead and read it off. At number 1, we have Solana. SOL. At number 2, we have Thorwallet DEX TGT. At number 3, we have Ethereum ETH. At number 4, we have Aave AAVE. At number 5, we have Superverse SUPER. At number 6, we have Jupiter Perpetual Liquidity Provider Token JLP. At number 7, we have Radium RAY. At number 8, we have Injective INJ, and at number 9 we have Akash Network AKT. Last but not least, at number 10, rounding out the top 10, we have Avalanche AVAX. We are making some adjustments. There's going to, I'm pretty sure, moving in August, depending on where we're sitting in August. Now that's, in crypto terms, a very long way out. Like we could be sitting knee deep in the middle of the bull run, but that's when the spigot for Bitcoin and Ethereum turns back on. And if we're bull running, there's going to be a different strategy than if we're not bull running. If we're not bull running, we're going to be adding in some positions because I'll be turning the spigot back on for cash going into the cryptoverse. Things that we're looking at adding: XRP. Kind of a no-brainer play for the run. I could see holding on to it for a little bit. I don't know that it's going to make it into my long-term holdings, but we'll see. Depending on pricing on Solana, could be getting some more Solana. Aave, we're going to be dollar cost averaging into that, I think, regardless of what the market's doing, because we can stake it. So that's an easy one. Superverse, depending on where the price is sitting, we might add more to that bag because, again, we can stake it. That is a long-term conviction. I think that eventually gaming on blockchain will become a thing, and I think that they're positioning to be at the epicenter of whatever that thing turns into. I could potentially be putting more into my radium pool. I've got some farming stuff going on what is it? On Injective, or not Injective, on Osmosis chain, which is in the Tindermint ecosystem. Atom, for those of you who don't know Cosmos, like Cosmos ecosystem. And we might be adding a little bit more to those pools. I got a couple that I like over there. GMX is another one, that token that I'm looking at adding a position to for the run, depending on the price. Hopefully, me personally, I'm hoping it gets delayed. I'm hoping they push this back and keep the prices suppressed as long as possible. I'm gonna be capitalizing on that. That's what I'm looking for. What I'm looking to do. Bring me back to the screen. Boop, boop. Okay. But yeah, we're gonna see what goes on in August, because we're not gonna be doing anything but paying taxes and maintenance till then, because I finally got my tax bill in. So we're gonna go ahead and pay those taxes. Turned out it was just at $2,000. It's basically $2,000. No complaints there. You pay the $2,000 for the 13 grand you made. Can't complain. No complaints there. One of the other things, well, I mean, it's whatever. It's a sidebar note, but for those of you who follow the channel, you know that we're in the ecosystem and it's all bag talk. But the conversation that I got when I got into high yield dividends is, oh, you're gonna have to pay taxes. Well, I made $13,000 extra last year. I paid taxes on 9 of it because you get a lot of return of capital. So I actually haven't gone through that process. Now no. And that's kind of what it is. So we're not gonna play games with it. We're gonna go ahead and pay the taxes at $2,000. And we had that $13,000 that's rolled itself up into where are we at now? About $36,000, something like that. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and log in so we can go ahead and quote actual numbers, because we do receipts around here. Oh, boop. And then I'm feeling generous. So let's see here. Where are we at today? Go ahead and pull it up to the screen, because you got to have the good, bad, the ugly, and I don't mind showing it. Unlike some of your favorite YouTubers. So boom. Now we're in my broker's portfolio over at Schwab. So oh, look at that, Misty. 1,720 shares. Sitting at let's see here, market value at present. What's that? $38,596.80 from $13,000 last year. Kicked out dividends of $13,000 last year. We rolled it, kept it rolling, kept investing, kept buying. Oh no, the taxes. Well, out of that 13, we paid taxes on 9. Obviously you got tax loss harvesting and a few other things in there. Oh, let me go ahead and put this on the screen, because I don't want to go down here. There we go. Sorry, I didn't realize I didn't have it on the screen. Sometimes I do that, but here it is. Those are the receipts. Oh, but you're down $6,949.12. Yeah, but they paid me $22,000 so far. So I'm actually not down. So that's a whole nother conversation that people don't seem to understand, because they don't like numbers or maths. But over the next 12 months, we're projected into the 50s. $50,000. Oh, you're gonna have to pay taxes on that. You're darn right I am. And you know what we're gonna use to pay it? The dividends. That's what we're gonna be using. I mean, yeah, okay, so well, you don't get dividend as much for those months. Like, yeah, that's fine. What do we do every year? We file an extension. We get to pay it in 3 chunks. Like, it's whatever. Like, you got 3 months where you're coming off of it a little bit. But the fun part is I'm still working. So since I'm still working and actually moving forward post August, we're going to be building up cash reserves. So like actually we'll be paying out of the cash reserve. Also, fun fact for those of you who didn't know, when you have dividend income, or better yet, distributions, you don't have to pay all the excess taxes. You are worried about your state and local, maybe your city, if your city's extorting you, and your Fed. The Fed is who I owed money to this year. Yeah. So you have that whole workers' comp, Social Security, all that stuff. You're out of that system because you are not someone who's going to be reliant on it. So you don't pay those taxes. It's the same reason that when you pay capital gains taxes, that's not factored in because you are out of the matrix. You are no longer leeching the system. So I'm just saying, I don't want to have to, be that way about everything, but sometimes you gotta beat your chest and be proud of what you've done and understand that, like, because I went through that shroud of poor people or people who were working that are trying to get rich avoiding taxes, telling me about taxes because I didn't listen and actually went and checked it out for myself, I realized that, like, oh, so they're scared of paying for something that's not actually even what it is. Like, they don't know what they're talking about because they're poor. And that's one of the inhibitors of them being poor is they don't try anything. They don't test anything for themselves. If dividends were that terrible, then why are so many people trying to do it? Why are people retiring? Why do we have conversations about passive income? Oh, because they tell you to put it in your Roth so that you can never retire, so that you got to stay in the matrix, so that you're a millionaire who can't quit going to work because you can't afford it, because you don't have access to any of your money. Okay, because you wanted to not pay taxes. Well, that's cool. You get to work till you're 70. Enjoy that. Enjoy it. That's a choice. Not an efficient one, but it's a choice. And they get mad at people that they see getting a result that they know that they can't get now. That's, I think, what it actually is. People fear you out of doing stuff that they wanted to do that they were too afraid of. So we're gonna not be doing that. Now, for the last part of the video, we're going to talk about Bitcoin's place in my financial cycle. And the reason I say that is I don't have a financial plan. I don't have a budget. I believe money is cyclical. Capital flows. It's called capital flow. If money goes to one place, stagnant wealth does not accumulate. But what about rich people? They hoard all the assets. They're constantly cycling money, though. They buy things. They just buy things without giving things up, but they're still producing more income. That income is flowing. So for me, I have historically had one predominant source, which is the same source that you guys are going to have. Now, this is going to be a little bit different than most of our crypto portfolio updates. I'm going to put some money game on you, at least money game that I have in my experience and how I'm using it to navigate these markets and how I'm using it to get ahead as an individual. Because as we know over here in the Wolfpack, no one's coming to save us. So since no one's coming to save us, it's on us to save ourselves. And I would like you to save yourself as efficiently and as expeditiously as possible. That doesn't mean I want you all sitting on the beach drinking Mai Tais until your body wilts and then you expire, because that's what'll happen if you actually do nothing. What I would like for everybody, at least in the Wolfpack, in my community, my kindred spirits, I would like all of you to be able to choose what you do. I would like all of you to be able to take a job that you want and not worry about the pay. I would like for those of you who don't want to negotiate for pay and therefore you get paid less and then you want to talk about the wage cap because you don't want to have those tough conversations. I would like you to be in a position where you don't have to worry about that check, that your W-2 is your side hustle. That's your extra money. For those of you who do negotiate and you're hard-nosed negotiators here in the Wolfpack, true alphas, I see you. I would like for your negotiation to be so set from a position of power that no one can tell you anything because you don't have to bend the knee for anyone for $1 for that check. You don't have to kneel for coin. That's what I want for everyone in the Wolfpack. I want us all to be self-reliant. So wherever you lie on that spectrum, because I don't like asking people for anything, honestly. So I'm not necessarily the person who's going to go in there and fight to get paid the most I can get, and I'm going to just fight you tooth and nail to get every penny I can get out of you. Like, no, I'll just leave. If it gets to the point to where you're paying the bare minimum for me to be there and it becomes any type of inconvenience for me to be there, I want to be able to just leave. Like, be like, yo, what are you doing? Be like, I'm out. Like, take this job and shove it. Like, I'm not coming back in here. I don't like having to ask nobody for anything. I'm like, if you want me around, you better make sure you let me know you want me around. You better pay me accordingly. You better act. But I want you to act like you want me around. I want you to pay me like you want me around. Because I ain't got to be here. And it's going to be known that I ain't got to be here. Matter of fact, I probably make more than the manager. You talking down to me, you talking down to somebody who makes 4 times your salary. Like, what's up? Like, who you talking to? That's the leverage I want. And that's the timing I'm on. I'm not going to ask you for anything. We're going to sit there. You're going to give me a review. You're going to give me some more money. You want me here? Because if not, like, if this is an inconvenience for you, then I can alleviate it for you today, right now. Yesterday, I'll be gone. I don't need to be here. That's what I want for the Wolfpack. So here's how I use Bitcoin in my cycle, because I believe in cycling money. So my original thing that I had, and this is the plan that most people are on before I got my money together, was W-2 income. That's the cycle. Money comes in, money goes out. Money goes out where? Well, in my younger days, money came in, money went to the club. Money came in, money went out for fancy meals. Money came in, money went out for dates. Money came in, money went to car audio. I did car audio, building computers. Out. And that's the end of the story. And what that does is that money come in, money go out mentality is that's how people stay poor. You're going to be broke forever because you're going to work just enough to eat and keep yourself mildly entertained. And with the result of that is you just get to work forever because you don't have anything saved. You have nothing moving forward. You're not saving any of those resources. You're not maximizing any of that income. So what was level 2? Well, level 2 for me was I realized I had an income problem because I wanted to do more stuff than the money that I was making. So you got to go get a better job. So like that's where job hoppers come in. Oh, you got to go get skill set. You got to go get in IT. You got to go get in cybersecurity. You got to go take this boot camp so that you can get this job and you can work remote and you can work with the computer and do this. You got to go get this certification. And like me being me, I'm not that smart. I'm not necessarily saying I'm not that smart in that sense because I have certifications within the field that I'm in now because I find it interesting. But for me, it was just get a better paying job. So like I got better paying jobs. And then I would spend all that money because the money come in, money go out. You make more money, lifestyle expands. And I kept doing that. And then I realized and kind of level set with myself. And I was like, yo, I think if I got to $50,000, I should be able to get rich. Like, honestly, like once I started realizing that I was just blowing money, I was blowing money. And the thing was, I wasn't even blowing money on stuff that I wanted. I was blowing money going to clubs and being bored. And I'll tell you this right now. There's nothing more pathetic or sad than a grown man going to a club, not having a good time and spending all his money. Like, that's crazy to me. It's insane. It's super pathetic. And I did it for a long time, in my opinion. Like, I'd say the 5-year stint that I was doing that's a long time for me. Consistently. Before I finally like snapped out of it and I was like, I don't even I would rather be at home. I would honestly rather be at home than here. So like now it's like if I'm gonna go do something, I'm going to go do something that's going to bring me joy. And honestly, one of the skills that I learned is if I'm somewhere and I'm not having a good time, I will go home. And it's hard because the FOMO gets you because you're there. Like, and what used to happen with us, sidebar story, we'd be at the club and we'd have like 3 clubs that we'd be bouncing in between. And it'd be fun. Like, you know, you're bouncing and then we'd settle in one club and no one would want to leave. And it got to the point to where like I would start asking, be like, yo, like, why don't we go back to the other club? Like, it was like better than here. And the answer I got every time, and I started noticing it, and this was kind of when I woke up. People would be like, yo, but like, what if some baddies show up here? We're at a place where we're not having fun. We're paying for drinks and we're not enjoying this. There are no girls to talk to here. But we don't want to go back to the place that we left where we knew there were girls because we had to see this last place. Because what if girls show up here after we leave? As soon as that became the answer, and I was like, oh, this isn't good. Like, this is not good for me. It's not good for anything. And I'm not enjoying this, and I'm not going to spend money to do this anymore. I stopped going out as much. I started going home. Like, if it was a bad night and there wasn't anywhere that I wanted to be, I'd go home. And it's kind of the beginning of me being able to diverge from what the crowd was doing. Now, money-wise, I had multiple starts in my financial journey, but most of them started off with me doing something like putting money in the S&P 500 and an ETF, which is what all the gurus say. And I would try to do that. And it just wasn't going up at any type of clip to where I would get excited about it. I tried doing the dividend stock and getting like $1.20 every 3 months, and it just wasn't going up fast enough. And I understand that that's part of being a geriatric millennial, as they say. Microwave generation, you want everything now. And it's not necessarily that I want everything now, but it's just the prospect of having no noticeable forward momentum, to be honest, because it takes a while. Because a lot of those diversification tactics, first and foremost, they are a defensive tactic. It's a wealth preservation strategy, not a wealth creation strategy. That's a fact. Talk to anyone in the field that's not selling you a product. That is a fact. And so when you're doing that and you're putting all this money away, it just gets to a point to where you're like, I'm still going to have to work for like 30 more years. Now, 10 years, we can make a 10-year plan, but like that 30, like you like, bro, I'm about to be old. Now, that was in my 20s. Like now I'm going to be official. I'll be out of the workforce at my own behest in my mid 40s. I originally, which actually isn't too far off from my original plan, because I was trying to be one of those people when I was 16. I was like, I want to be a retire when I'm 30, in my 30s. So I'm gonna do it in my 40s. Like, I messed around. I had a whole lot of fun. I got a lot of memories. I got a ton of stories. But there weren't tools available that had any time. And so like for me being young, my younger brain, seeing that trickle up and then doing the math and being like, okay, so like if I'm saving at this rate, I'm going to have to wait until whenever. And then if I was saving at the rates that I'm saving now, I would have still been having to wait until whenever, but I would have had a larger cash base I would have had a larger cash base for Bitcoin. So like, had I done what I needed to do when I found out about Bitcoin, I would have got rich because I would have been able to get like 20 Bitcoin had I done the slow thing. So I'm not saying that it doesn't work. It's just in my brain, and I think in a lot of people's brains, it's like you're factoring this out and you're not factoring in the what could happen on the positive. You're going, this is going to take me 20, 30 40 years at the rate of money that I'm bringing in to save up like this to get anywhere. And then, you save up a few $1,000s and then you blow it on something stupid because you're like, yo, YOLO, man, I ain't gonna even be around in 30 years. Like, this is ridiculous. I ain't doing this. And then you are. And then you're like sitting there going, man, I really wish younger me cared a little bit more. But it's okay because like middle-aged Ray cares So older Ray's gonna be rich. It is gonna be great. But that was just these false starts, figuring out ways to speed up the velocity of my paycheck, and it wasn't appealing until I found Bitcoin, because Bitcoin, I could buy Bitcoin and you go through the bull run. So every 4 years, I'm seeing that money jump over time, over a few months, over a few years. I'm seeing that money jump, even with the cliffs. I'm seeing it build up. I'm like, I'm saving it. You look in the account one day, it's $100. You keep putting money in there. Next thing you know, it's $1,000. Bull run comes around, boom, $8,000. Oh, okay, cool. Drops down, $6,000. All right, whatever. Took the hit, whatever. We're going to keep buying. Next thing you know, you got $10,000. Roll around bull run, $50,000. You're like, oh, like you're seeing it jump. Like you're like, hey, I'm not only am I just seeing this balance fluctuate, because like when we do these monthly net worths, like we have months when the market's down, it fluctuates, but you also have those months when the market's up and it's jumping up. And you're seeing that money move forward. So like that got me enticed. So that was the first thing that I was using to accelerate my money. And Bitcoin is the most sound store of value of money. If you're trying to have more buying power in the future versus less buying power in the future, if you're trying to go counter the America plan, counter the fiat currency plan, Bitcoin's where it's at. That was my first money accelerant. So then, going through that, as soon as the ETFs all started getting approved, we started seeing some products for income generation. Now, I missed the boat because I wasn't paying attention to MicroStrategy. Reason being was I was in pure Bitcoin mode then. I was like, hey, we're going to make income out of the market during the bull run, and we convert it to Bitcoin. But I was buying Bitcoin. So Michael Saylor coming around talking about how he was going to buy Bitcoin really wasn't appealing to me, because I couldn't understand what that was going to mean for the stock. Otherwise, I would have scooped that up too, and I would also be rich right now. But we here now, and we got a long road to go, and I'm getting in while the getting's still good. So I found Misty, which is a covered call ETF based on the volatility of strategy. It kicks off a pretty decent check every month. You get a good distribution off that. I end up injuring myself. So I'm now realizing the W-2 income, that W-2 income for me, because I'm not a person, I don't work sitting down. That's the reason. That's honestly probably a large part of the reason I'm in better shape than most of you. Just saying. Like, it's kind of weird being because like I look at the other people in the crypto space and I'm like okay, but my background, I'm a very active person, so while I do sit for some parts of my job, most of my job I am active and moving, and severing my Achilles and having to get surgery and not being able to walk, and being more or less down for a month. And then after that, getting back to work on light duty with a pirate leg type deal so that I could walk, so I could get around, but not being able to do things at the pace that I was doing them or the way that I was doing them before made me realize, while I was sitting on that couch for that month, that my W-2 income has to be side hustle income if I'm going to be doing W-2 income that requires my body, because I could get injured. And if I get injured in a fashion where I can't do that work, then that income goes away. So that's when I started going down the road of learning all these financial strategies. That's the epicenter of where the conversations that Future Financial Strategies revolves around came from, because I was looking at anything at that point. I was on the couch for a month and I didn't know when I was going to be able to actually walk again. For those of you who've never experienced that injury, A, it's terrible. B, it hurts really bad. And C, you're pretty much down for about a year before you get back to full capacity, unless you have money on hand to get like stem cell like immediately after your surgery is done, basically. Like I don't know. And I'm going with like completely torn 2 pieces Like it wasn't like a tear. It wasn't like it was like this thing has come completely apart and we have to put it back together for you. So, do with that what you will. It sucked, but I was in a position where I faced the potential for income insecurity and I didn't like it. So we solved the problem. And that got me down the journey of high yield dividends, which is step 2 for my income. So before it was just W2, money come in, money go out. Then it was false starting with trying to save on some stocks, doing some retirement portfolio stuff, doing the company match. And then the actual next progressive step for me was Bitcoin, because that was the first thing that like clicked for me and I was in on it. Bitcoin and then the cryptocurrency space. It was actually Bitcoin, then the hottest crypto stock or crypto token that wasn't Ethereum, which is another mistake that I've made in this space early on, because we're trying to get rich next Tuesday. Everybody was. But I blew like a lot of money in the altcoin space, got really into DeFi, got into yield farming, was successful at that for a little while. But Bitcoin was the first thing where I was like, okay, my check comes in, I need to buy this thing and at least have the money sitting over there. So that was the first accelerant that I ever used. And it worked. I mean, it still works. Like I still do that sometimes. But for now the evolution of that became, I don't want to spend the Bitcoin that I accumulated during that time. So I have to find another accelerant so that I'm not consistently cycling out of Bitcoin. Step into high yield dividends. So now my check comes in, I put it in high yield dividends. And what we're working towards now is like everything will go into the dividend portfolio. And then we use the dividend to pay for all the monthly expenses and my expenditures through the month and my investments and building up my portfolios. Why am I in such a rush to do that? And that's because this could, and I'm not going to act like it's something that's just, oh yeah, they're just going to always be high yield dividends. There's always going to be volatile stocks, but this could be a window in time. And if it is, because I'd say we've got two more bull runs where normal people can even acquire Bitcoin. MicroStrategy stock is going to continue to grow. MicroStrategy is going to continue to be volatile. It's going to be highly volatile for this bull run and the next bull run. If this is just a window of time, then I'm going to build up a war chest during that window. I'm going to get a ton of MicroStrategy. I'm going to collect my 32 Ethereum that I need to get. I'm going to get some more Bitcoin. And I'm going to build a fortress so that if for whatever reason, when this gets boring and MicroStrategy is not super volatile, I can still get a payout on that balance and I can cycle into other things that are more safe. I'm going to have a whole bunch of Strike. I'm probably going to have a little bit of Strife. I'm going to be good. I'm going to still be getting paid. But if this is a flash in the pan, you know what else was a flash in the pan? Yield farming. In the fashion that it was going into 2019, going into COVID. You know what I got out of it? A house. I got a car paid off. I got over $30,000 in debt that I had accrued at that time, paid off. You take advantage of those opportunities. So even if it's like, oh, you can't do Misty forever, you can't do high yield dividends forever, I don't need to do it forever. What I need to do is build it up to where it's kicking off a couple of $100,000 that I don't need. And trust me, I can manage that money well enough. I'll get positioned. I'll get some stuff paid off. We'll get this house paid off. We'll buy another car. When I upgrade my vehicle, we'll get that paid off. We'll get that 32 Ethereum, and then we'll have 5% or 3% a year off of that pool of staked Ethereum that I can eat into every year. I cut myself a check for 3% of whatever of that 32 Ethereum. Hold on, I'll do the math on that. Because we like maths around here, and I'm not good at the quick ones. So we got calculators that they said we weren't going to have. So 32 times 0.03. That'd be basically 1 ETH a year. So that goes into the cash pool. At 32, you're almost making one. It's 0.96 Ethereum. Hold on. So we'll just say 0.96 times 26. So like right now, that's $2,496 with Ethereum price at 2,600. Now, when Ethereum's sitting at about 10,000 times 0.96, that's $9,600 a year for that specific holding that I have that I can eat on. Now, what I'm saying is, I want to capitalize on the opportunity that lies before me now. We're always looking, again, this is future financial strategy. We're always looking for other ways to eat. Like, that doesn't mean that I can't do anything else. But high yield dividends is the best accelerant for generating additional cash flow, in my opinion. So we're doing that. We're going to build a strategy around that. With that income, where does Bitcoin sit in this? Well, we're going to be starting in starting in August, it's going to shift to where we're predominantly paying off the current debt load that we have, which is about $28,000. As we move forward with that, we're going to also be putting a maintenance amount, which will be a bare minimum of money that's going to go into crypto, which will be predominantly in Bitcoin and Ethereum. This year, probably Ethereum, and then we're going to take the 3% at the end of the year and just throw that over into Bitcoin, whatever that is. But once we start buying again, what are we going to do with the Bitcoin? So like Bitcoin kind of has historically been a dead end. Well, now we have products coming back. Nexo is coming back, but the one that people are going to be familiar with is Strike, and I have an account over at Strike now. I got that set up. Strike allows you to do something that we used to be able to do back in 2016 through 2019, which is leverage your Bitcoin. What does that mean? Well, you get a lower APR, which during the good old days was super low, like 0% or 2%. Now it's like 13%. Strike. I know what they took from us, and I'm appreciative that they're giving it back. It's less than credit cards, but it's still annoying. So what will we be doing with that 10%? That 10% or whatever the minimum maintenance will be for my Bitcoin purchase will be going directly over into my Strike account to build up a war chest of Bitcoin. I do not want to move Bitcoin out of cold storage to put over there. I want to build up its own deal. Now, Strike right now, as it sits right now, you have to have a lot of Bitcoin. So there's like maybe a few 100,000 people who can use this product as it sits right now, because you have to have 1.4, which is more Bitcoin than I have. So like if I moved all my Bitcoin, I couldn't use this feature, which is crazy to me. I'm like, worked your butt off since 2013, got all this crypto. I've been in this space. I've already done what this product is offering with less Bitcoin, and they're telling me I can't do it. It's so wild to me. So as it sits right now, you have to have at minimum 1.3, I think it's 3.3 or 3.7 Bitcoin. It's a good chunk of money to borrow. And it's the borrow amount is 50%. So they give you a 50% loan to value, which is cool. That's cool. And it's like, I think it's like 13% or 12% or something like that, which again, less than it's under half of what you would pay to put something on a credit card. But for those of you with good credit and the right credit cards, you could get those cash advance checks for 4%. So like I still am going to have access to some 4% monies, which is going to be awesome. And I'm going to use that before I leverage my Bitcoin. But for large cash infusions to put into portfolios or whatnot, I'll be able to leverage my Bitcoin. So that's where Bitcoin fits, because now that I can borrow against it and still get it back. And this is another reason that you have to have some form of income source or an asset that's going to be able to potentially grow out of whatever it is you're doing. The deal with Strike, though, is you have 12 months. They'll give it to you for 12 months. So you only have a 12-month window. So unless you are catching it, well, I mean, I guess the average over year, it's just not guaranteed that Bitcoin goes up every single year. Like over the average, it goes up every single year, but you're going to have bad years. But you got 12 months to pay them back, which is, again, where the money cycle comes in, because then you can leverage the Bitcoin. I've got my income portfolio to repay that debt. Like, it's just, you're cycling it. So now you have this large cash pool where you can fund things. You have an income generation deal, so that way it's not necessarily 100% reliant on you going to work. You're getting a big check cut every month, a couple of times a month if you have more than one position. But right now, my primary holding is Misty, and that's what's in my primary income portfolio. It's the only thing that's in there right now. So I get one big check a month, one big old check. And then I got to disperse it amongst my responsibilities. But in the future, I will be getting multiple checks, and those checks will all be fat, and it'll be multiple times a month. So you might be getting like 3-4 grand a few times a month, getting 2 grand a few times a month. And we'll be set up. So good God, my allergies are killing me. I'm sorry for allergying here, but good Lord, it's so bad. It's so bad. My nose is red. I can see it. Because I've been itching it. But having that income come in to pay back the debt, now I don't have to worry about paying this debt back over the next 12 months because I got the incomes coming in, and it's just a chunk of that goes towards paying that principal and that balance off. Same with my taxes. I mean, technically speaking, I could take out a loan against my Bitcoin and pay the taxes off in one go and then have that come out in a monthly fashion, so I don't have to worry about dealing with the IRS and just self-fund it myself and just do that. It's another way to self-fund. It's a tool. Again, I don't like stagnant money. One of my main gripes about Bitcoin is if it didn't go up as exponentially as it did, it would be a really hard hold for me because it doesn't do anything. Like, I'm not seeing it do something every month. It just sits there. I can't stake it. I can't, like, there's ways to stake it, but like, I'm not comfortable with them. Like, I don't want to stake it, but like leveraging against some of it, absolutely. You get me a chunk of money, give me about $20,000, because Strike said they're lowering the minimum to a dollar amount. So they're saying that eventually it's going to go down to where we can put $10,000 in there and you can get $5,000 loans. And that's going to be one of my goals, is just to run up to that $10,000 mark. So that way I can do those $5,000 loans, and I'll do it the exact same way that I do my, my in-home banking portfolio. And honestly, there's a good potential that we cash out the in-home banking portfolio and just refill that, add that to the Bitcoin holdings, and the Bitcoin becomes the in-home banking portfolio. There's a possibility that once that in-home banking portfolio gets to 10 grand, we throw all 10 of it over at that. Actually, that's probably what we're going to do. And then the Bitcoin becomes the in-home banking. They have whatever their base percentage is. I'll probably put another few percent on there so that I can pay myself something, because we do not just give establishments our money for free without paying ourselves for in-home banking. Like, that's crazy talk to me. So we're going to build that out that way. That's what we're going to do. The in-home banking money will end up over there once we build that account up to $10,000. And, you know, some of those loans will actually, those loans are probably going to just go into the regular income portfolio, but it's a thought that counts. Anyways, that's how I use Bitcoin in my financial cycle. I'm sorry for making it long-winded and ranting, but, you know, sometimes we got to talk about stuff that we think is important. And I think that's a good one, especially on this segment specifically, because within the crypto space, like, we don't talk about financial planning. We don't talk about financial strategy. It's just everybody trying to get rich on Tuesday. Your structure and the plan that you have matters. So make sure you get right. Also, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. For the Wolfpack members, share the video. Everybody else, welcome to the Wolf Pack. Tap in with me down in the comments. What do we do? Is this a win or is this a L? What are you guys doing? Do you have a plan? I can't wait to hear from you guys. It's your boy Reckless Raid and Arrow, and this has been another episode of Crypto Portfolio Updates. We are out. Peace.
Money on my mind, yeah. Focus, got no time for games, nah. I don't play, man, I'm all about that financial literacy. Investing in my future, building generational wealth. Dollar bills, they be calling my name, but I ain't chasing fame, I'm chasing change. Learn the game, now I'm playing it smart. Putting my money to work, it's an art. I'm stacking paper, building my own empire. No more living check to check, I'm getting higher. Investing in stocks, real estate, and more. Gotta secure the bag, that's what I came for.